Hey folks, this is Buzz with Any Which Wargame. Today we're going to have a little chat about OPR's 3.5 release. And yeah, you probably saw this coming. But we're gonna do it anyway. So I've got I've got Dan here from Nexus Wargaming to chat with about it. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure. So before we get stuck too much into it, what have you been up to?
Man, I've been having a great time. Been working on my Bushido, finished my Prefecture of Ryu. Looking good by my standards, my good old tabletop standard. I tried to throw a little extra in there. So yeah, and then actually I interviewed bottom of the barrel for Drop Zone Commander and Drop Fleet.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and I've actually been digging out because I bought Drop Zone like 12, 13 years ago. And with the resurgence of it, I'm actually digging out my old models and I'm finding my old Shaltari and some of my little UCM that I'm gonna start painting. So I love those Drop Zone. Like it's so cool to see a group around my area playing Drop Zone. I've loved the game. And I love that I'm able to. There's nothing, isn't it something great about dusting off those old
Oh
models?
yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, that's so cool just to. It's also like a bit of nostalgia, like go back down memory lane. So, and I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Like wargaming, we're so spoiled for choice in wargaming. So.
Yeah. So, just to kind of delay getting to the topic a little while longer, why do you think? Yeah, I know, right? Why do you think there's this resurgence in Drop Zone all of a sudden?
I think it's a resurgence for me, but from what I've understood, it never went away. It's
Okay.
always sort of having a good solid group. I know Dave Lewis. I met Dave Lewis years ago. This is when he first started. We did like a little convention thing, and I just
Yeah.
I just met him as just a person, right? And it was crazy because back in those days, this whole starting your own indie game, like back in 2011, 2012, wasn't so common, right? And I remember I was just blown away by this guy who just was like, I'm going to quit my job and just do nothing but design this game. And then I designed the models, I designed the game, I designed the artwork, I designed the lore, and it's awesome. And I now remember just talking about how, like, we forget just how really some talented people are. And
Yeah.
like, people like, so. I think I say that because I think it's just been good quality models, a good quality game that's always sort of been in the indie. And I think people are kind of picking up again. I've seen some other YouTube channels actually talk about it. So I think that's what it is. It's kind of one of these bands in music that were really do really good work, and people are just starting to kind of find out about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. And they're working on the new edition, still supporting it. So, yeah, I think I love it. I love it. At least that my local game community is playing it now because it's such a cool game.
Well, that's really cool. Okay, well, I guess let's dive right in. So, in the last week or so, OPR released Grimdark Future version 3.5, and
Hmm.
it was basically not really an update to the rules as such, more just a reworking of the army lists and the inclusion of things like faction specific rules with the kind of goal, I suppose, that each army has its own flavor because they've been hearing, oh, some of the armies are too samey, they're too samey, I keep on hearing. And so they've made this release to kind of try and give each army its own individuality and different play style. So, what are your thoughts on that, first of all, as a design brief and as like an end goal?
Well, I'm not a designer, so I can, full disclosure, I was reached out to by OPR to give my design, or to give my feedback, I think, and I think my feedback was always from a competitive player's perspective, just how that sort of balance perspective and just the competitive play perspective. So I gave my feedback. I'm not allowed to kind of discuss the details on it, but I think it's really tough with OPR because like you, I've heard there are people saying the armies are too samey, but there's a lot of people that I talk to that maybe aren't on the Discord that are perfectly fine with the armies.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like it's to me, there's a bit of a disconnect I feel between real life and online,
Yeah.
right? And I don't, to me, what I hear sometimes people say is going on with Discord doesn't match with reality. You know, I think of
Yeah.
my local play, I don't see people, oh, it's too samey, too samey. I generally have seen people talk about some of the balance issues in it. And we're a casual group who maybe, or maybe they feel, what the input that I get, and that could, let's be very clear, that could also be shrouded in people know who I am.
Hmm.
And like I said, I can only talk about my experience, right? I tend to get people who play weaker armies wanted to get a buff on their armies, or maybe there's a stronger army that wanted us a nerf here and there.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't pick up a lot of the oh it's all sort of sameness. So yeah, I don't. So it's interesting when you say that. You say there are people, but like who it's a very tough thing to sort of judge that, right? We don't, and
Yeah.
again, and then again, I can only speak about my own perspective, and it's probably, like I said, clouded by people know who I am, and they come to me with certain concerns. Oh, okay, well, there you go. So,
Well, speaking for myself, I have played every single faction at least once or twice. I
mhm.
play probably nine of them a lot, and I've never kind of said to myself, you know what, these feel too samey. This one feels too much like this one or that one. I've always really quite appreciated that there is one page of special rules on the back of that one page of rules, and
Mhm.
that should be all that I have to learn. But now each army has its own specific army rules, and that smacks of another game that I could mention and probably will a bit later on. So yeah, like for myself, I think yes, it's cool to make your army lists stand out more from each other, but change just for its own sake is not really something that I'm a fan of, and I can't really help but feel that there's a bit of that in this update.
Well, it's hard to judge. You know, one of the problems with trying to judge intentions is that it's sort of pointless to do. Like, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's kind of like who knows the intentions? We can only really judge the product by itself. That's all we can
Yeah,
really do. I mean, I don't like, it's, I think to me, one of the problems with the update that really has muddied the water that, and I'll just speak about what I saw in the beta. Let's just talk about that. That to me is poor quality work. And there's just no, that's about as polite as we can just be honest. It isn't great quality work. And so it's hard to have this discussion. Like, you can make armies more complicated and do it really well, and you can make armies more simpler and do it well. I feel this is making them more complicated, but also just like I don't feel this, and it is a beta, I guess, and we can use that term loosely, but it's tough to judge that, isn't it? Right?
yeah,
Like this
yeah,
is
absolutely.
it's like when I remember the first beta came out was just crazy, right? I mean, like when you had feats everywhere happening. I think it's toned down now, but I don't want to. This is what I'll say it this way. I think people who are more complex and the armies to be more unique, it's valid. But I don't know if this was the best way to do that, right?
Mm,
So, like I think just slapping a universal rule on units everywhere, no matter what the case, is it's not making the armies to me more unique. It's actually making the armies units in the armies much more samey, right?
yeah.
Like every unit has the same special rule. So where's the uniqueness across the army,
Mm,
right? I don't know. I felt I'm in a similar boat to you though. I did feel that 3.4 armies were pretty unique. I thought that they could get a little better. I think that's probably the frustration with some people. Some people that many probably felt the game was in a good spot, and there was sort of this additional ad that, for them at least, and for me, sort of made the game worse, I suppose,
Hmm.
from an army perspective.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a really good point, and there's only so much good that comes from speculation about intent and all that business anyway. What really bothered me about this update wasn't actually the update itself. It was the way that the community responded to it and dealt with the people who responded to it. It was very divisive, I found, especially on a couple of the Facebook groups, the OPR Facebook groups that I'm on. We're really starting to see the emergence of the kind of OPR can do no wrong crowd getting bigger and getting louder. So I'd see things like, oh, I'm pretty unhappy that I now have to relearn how to play my favorite faction. And, responses being like, oh, go and have a cry about it. It's not that hard to do. At least it isn't GW. GW is so much worse. And, I think a couple of things about that response. And the first thing is, I really intensely dislike this whole brand loyalty. They can do no wrong. Everything they put out is fine. And if you don't like it, that's your problem attitude. And my other issue is these same people holding up GW as the yardstick upon which things are measured. Like, yeah, GW's worse. They mess with their game worse than anyone. But is being better than that really all it takes to be good enough?
mhm.
What do
I
you reckon?
mean, I hate to say it, and you are like me, you've been around wargaming enough to see patterns.
Hmm.
And we've seen this with other games that get to a certain point that they think, and this is the problem, they think they're GW. They think that they can do the things that GW does, but they can't, right? Because yeah, GW screws up their game. Yeah, the balance isn't a thing, but GW also has an enterprise level design and marketing system
Hmm.
and models and a an advertising thing and scale that they, and this is I think has happened. I look at like War Machine is a great example of like a game that got bigger than OPR, but all of a sudden felt that they were had reached that point of GW level of dominance, but they hadn't, right? So that's one thing that I worry when people, and I'm not saying the company does this, that when the like you said, the fans
Yeah.
think, I don't know what OPR team thinks,
No,
that's
and
just
that
not his
that that
spot.
isn't that isn't
But
even really my point here. It's the
but
actual
yeah, you're right. But
community.
the
Yeah.
fans sort of don't understand that. Like that's not like. Hopefully, the company or the whoever isn't taking that approach. Hopefully, they aren't listening because that's not the case. I mean, OPR cannot do the same things. No other game company can do what GW can do because they can survive mistakes.
Yeah.
And they can just through this. I mean, look, OPR is a good game, but the models, they're not GW models. The lore, it's not GW level lore. Like OPR lore is fine, OPR models are fine, but they are competing really purely on their game.
Yeah.
That's different than GW. So if, like I said, the fans I think are thinking that way, shouldn't be thinking that way because it's only going to work for GW. And
Yeah.
I don't even think GW is going to, it's even continuing to work for them, right? People are fleeing GW, and that that's why OPR is growing, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I wonder where the Exodus goes to next. I've run away screaming from GW, and I like OPR. I play OPR. I think one of the really good things about it is that I can go on those Army Forge community lists and play whatever list I like. I don't have to play the ones that they're bringing out if they're not the ones that I like to play. But I do kind of wonder, well, when I get sick of doing that, what do I jump ship to next?
I mean, take your pick.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I mean,
absolutely. We're
there's,
spoilt for choice.
yeah, and I think that. So there's this OPR is part of this new generation of designers, you know, who aren't the Tom Blanches. They are these sort of people who came out of, and the game is good, but they are competing. Like I said, I mean, look at some of the people they're who they're competing against. I mean, like I said, Tom Greenway over at Moonstone is doing amazing work.
Yeah, absolutely. And those models are gorgeous.
Yeah. Dave Lewis, I mean, he's continuing to plug things. I mean, and this, like I said, this guy is pretty much a modern day savant of game who can do everything. So you've got those. I mean, you've got so many other creators out there that I mean, it's just becoming a much more competitive side of things. You're right. I think that OPR, I'm going to be playing OPR from a custom armies perspective. I don't really want to play the new. Look, I think 3 point. This is what my sincere belief is. I think that this is a beta. I think it's fair to say that they are going to work out some of the balance issues
Hmm.
and work out all that. So that's fine. I just don't want to play that game. I don't want to play the shenanigans game of having my entire army advance up 9 inches at the start of the game, and then some of my units run 28 inches because of their feet. Or I mean, that's the current version. I don't know what it's been changed to now, or that kind of stuff. Or my army does this, and then I do this different combo, and I'm
Yeah,
36 inches above the board, or I mean, and like I said, I've taken a
yeah.
break from. I mean, that was what the current rules are today.
They're
What they'll do
also
in the yeah,
indicative of the direction that they're going in. Even if a lot of that doesn't make it through this beta, the fact that those kind of things are in there does indicate that these are the kind of things that they're looking towards in the future. And, I got into OPR because it was a nice, simple game that was fun to play and had some strategic depth to it.
that's what I like about OPR, that it stresses strategic depth rather than army building
Yeah,
shenanigans.
absolutely.
I know 3.5 has gotten better. The first version of it where all Marines had feats that gave them +2 AP for this, and then Chaos spent pools where they can. I mean, like, this is like, I mean, I was imagining scenarios where I use my feet and I counter your feet with my feet.
Yep,
That kind of thing
yep,
happening.
yep.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
So, I don't know. Like I said, maybe it'll improve. I mean, like all things, it's when you're in a beta, you get opened up to this, right? You can't get angry. I mean, I don't know if they even are. I have no idea. But I don't know why the community is angry. This is a beta, and people are supposed to voice their opinions about it. So why get frustrated when people give their opinions?
yeah,
Because that's supposedly, I mean, that's how this beta is supposed to work. So
yeah,
I don't understand that thing to me is confusing, right? I mean, it let people voice their opinions, and if you don't like them, well, you know, voice your opinions because
yeah. Don't just
that's what this
say
is. It's a free
exactly.
for all. Yeah, it's a
Exactly.
free for all.
Don't just say, well, you're dumb for not liking it or understanding how it works. And
I mean, this is a free for all. This is
yeah,
a here, tell me what you want. Effectively, and I'm going to start. Well, if you don't start yelling, I guess, or whatever, or making your opinions known, polite or not, well, then it's not going to change. And other people are doing it. I mean, that's what this is, right? That's how these betas sort of work. I don't know. But I definitely understand your concerns, like why certain who I'm sure those community members themselves are complaining about things. Maybe they're doing it politely. I don't know. I
yeah.
need to
I don't
work on
know.
that myself. I probably need to be more polite, and that's on me, to be more polite at times.
Yeah, I'll say one line and I'll leave it at that. Politeness and respect is a two-way street. Give it and you get it. And that's all I'm gonna say on that matter.
Yeah, well, fair
So,
enough.
so, okay. I think that's about all I want to do on that particular topic. We could go on about it for a very long time, and I think that's pretty much where I want to leave it. So
Well,
is there anything else you'd like to add to it?
I would love to actually. So, what games are you sort of interested in? So, let's
Yeah, that's
suppose.
exactly what I was gonna ask you.
Oh man. Well, I mean, like I said, Drop Zone Commander is definitely my new love, but I mean, like, geez, I'm playing Trench Crusade, Epic Armageddon is still going strong.
Hmm.
I've got a game of fourth edition 40K I think
Nice.
coming up. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
that's
like fourth
awesome.
edition. Yeah. I mean, like I myself am just spoiled. There's so many great games out there that I love OPR. I'd love it to continue, but I'm this we're just spoiled. So for me, I'm continuing Trench Crusade. Looking forward to my first game of Bushido.
Hmm.
Drop Fleet, Drop Zone is another thing I'll be doing. I mean, yeah, Infinity. I mean, geez, I still love
Yeah, yeah,
Infinity.
absolutely.
So that's me. So how about you,
Well,
boss?
for myself, I've been playing a bit of X-Wing.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
I've
nice.
been playing a bit of X-Wing First Edition because I never got around to buying the second edition.
Wow,
And
very
yeah, I've
cool.
been having fun in Star Wars playing spaceships, and I've been playing a bit more of Kill Team 21
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of enjoying having my ass handed to me on a plate time and time again while I learn exactly how cover works in that game. But, in a good way, in a way that's fun. I've been playing some Death Wizards lately as well. I started a new Death Wizards campaign.
That looks cool. That looks
Yeah, it
cool.
is cool. It's about the only fantasy thing I'm playing at the moment. And it's just super cool playing the bad guy and trying to defeat those evil villagers. Like, forget about it. It's awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And yeah, that's kind of the big things that I've been doing at the moment. I have also been playing OPR. I'm actually going to be at PAX Melbourne at the start of October. I'm going to be on the OPR tables through the Warplings Club, and yeah, we're not in any way officially supported by OPR or anything like that, but yeah, we're probably going to run several hundred games over this 3-day expo.
I mean,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, kind of
And
gearing up for that.
let's I would say on OPR, I think there is some positives in 3.5. I think they did make some rules changes that I think have been positive. I've loved that they've done their work on their custom army builder. I mean, that's great that they've invested into this tool that you can be more granular in how you build these custom armies. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to
Yeah.
be building my custom armies. I'm going to be running tournaments for OPR on custom armies.
Yep.
So OPR, I'm still gonna be playing it.
Oh yeah, I have
I'm
no
just
intention of not playing it anymore.
yeah, I'm just not going to probably be playing a lot of 3.5. So
Yeah. Yeah, and pretty much that custom army builder is why I still have my subscription.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yep.
exactly. So maybe they'll get more people on their subscriptions for custom army builders.
Yeah,
Who knows?
maybe. Well, before we sign off, is there anything you want to plug?
I think for me, like I said, I think I've waited for 3.5 to come out, and that's great, but I'm probably going to be getting back to, yeah, custom armies. I'm going to be reworking all of them. And somewhere between now and the end of the year, I want to run another Grimdark Future army with custom armies only. That's the
Cool.
plan.
Yeah,
I don't
nice.
know if it'll happen at the end of the year, but maybe beginning of the year. We'll sort of
Yeah,
see.
awesome.
So yeah, I've really enjoyed running tournaments. I've ran two and had a blast. So
Just before we go, how was your most recent one?
it was
You
great.
that
It
was
was
your
great.
regiment's one, yeah?
Regiments won. We had 8 players in that one, and that's pretty good for regiments. Not only
Yeah.
that, but it was my own custom rules. I did that with the official armies. Fantasy is rough because we're probably the community is. I think the fantasy armies are probably fine as they are. So maybe I think that when 3.5 drops, I'll probably just find some old versions of the 3.4 versions for Age of
Yeah.
Fantasy. But people liked it. I'm going to continue to sort of refine those rules for Age of Fantasy to give people another alternative to play that people may not like the current regiments
Yeah, for
version.
sure.
So, yeah, I've really enjoyed running tournaments, and people are already asking me to run other ones. So I'm going to be running other tournaments. It's going to be fun.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to have you playing it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting to one and not being sick or injured.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, that's about it from us. So I really want to know, I'm sure Dan does too. I really want to know what you guys think about this 3.5 beta. What have we said that you agree with, that you disagree with? What other games are you playing? And has playing OPR kind of made you or encouraged you to explore another type of game? And if so, leave it in the comments below. So, Dan, really nice to have you on, as always.
Always a pleasure, boss. Thank you.
All right, and until next time, let's roll some dice.